Morning, guys. Okay, good morning, good morning. Hopefully some of you will be joining. Just get myself comfy. Tuck my top in. Sorry, I feel all like I'm all over the shop. Alright, I hope we're all good. Hopefully I might be joined by some of you. Good. Such a gorgeous day today. Always the way the weather improves and we've all got to stay indoors. Sort of. Just inviting a few. Okay, can you hear me all right, guys? Because my internet connection in my house is really, really, really poor at the moment. My internet connection is a bit rubbish. So I have just connected to my Wi-Fi. I disconnected it, but I think the O2 internet's not great. So just let me know you can hear me all right. Can you hear me all right? Right, hopefully my internet will stay. If I see it goes to poor connection, I will just stop talking. And then, because otherwise you're going to lose bits. Right, okay, morning, guys. So we're day 2 of our mindset masterclass. Okay, now I don't know about yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but yesterday I was watching Laura's live, and honestly, every time she was saying things, I was literally shouting at the camera, going yes, yes, while I was driving, doing all my deliveries. Honestly, I felt so empowered by all of Laura's thoughts. It was really thought-provoking. I found yesterday really, really thought-provoking. And I got straight on the phone to Laura after and was like, honestly, it was just gold. So today is all about being mindful about what you let into your world, what you let into your circle, and what you let into your mind. So the average person, I don't know if you know this, has 70,000 thoughts per day, okay? 70,000 thoughts per day, which can be provoked by a number of different things. And one of the things that we think within this business that you have got to have and you've got to be mindful about is what's going on around you. Now, I posted an image a little while back in the group. If you haven't seen it, check out the image at some point, because I am going to be talking about that a little bit later on in this live. You don't need to print it or anything, but you just sort of need to be aware of what the image is sort of talking about, if that makes sense, and what the image is sort of getting at. And it was basically looking at your circle of influence versus your circle of concern, and basically talking about like what you need to be concerned and what you don't need to be concerning yourself with. So that will all link at the end, and I will talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so I've started to list a few different things that I've sort of thought, do you know what? There's different things that are really important. And one of the quote, I've got a few quotes. I've literally made a few notes on whether I actually stick to it or not. And some of this is going to be related to your everyday life, but some of this is going to be quite heavily related to network marketing and how we run our businesses. So different things that can impact you. Did you know that who or what you surround with basically can impact your whole mental health? Okay, different people that you surround yourself with, whether, you know, it's positive people, negative people. You hear the saying quite a lot that if you hang around with, you know, really positive, inspiring people, gradually what they're thinking and how they run their lives and how they think and all of those different things gradually will wear off on you within time. So as humans, we need to constantly be exposed to new stimulus, but ideally those stimuluses need to be the right type of stimulus. So everything that enters, so this was like a little thing that I found, everything that enters your mind can shape your consciousness without realization. So everything you let into your mind, and do you know what, it's really easy to let stuff in that we don't necessarily want in our minds, but it's that will shape how we think, how we feel, how we act, the choices we make, you know, the ideas that we take and how we run our business and how we run our lives on a day-to-day business. So everything that enters your mind has some kind of shape on your consciousness, but it's about how you choose, the choices that you make by what you're surrounded with, that how you basically, what your actions are based on that. You need to be feeding your brain, and this is something that's really important. If you're not feeding your brain is never going to develop, and your brain is never going to change. You're never going to develop new ideas, and you're never going to develop out of that comfort zone. Some people have, with what Laura was saying yesterday, have that mindset that I can't do that, so therefore they stay in that mindset and they stay in that small area, and they basically never step out of that comfort zone. And what happens is they never develop, they never challenge, and they never change. Okay, and change is good, believe it or not. And I know we're going through some really tough changes at the moment, which are really challenging our mindset. But this is what we're sort of thinking is, what do you let in? What do you not let in? So feeding your brain with the right information is something that's really, really important. Now, as sensory consultants, you should be continually looking for continued professional development. You should be continually challenging your brain to find something new within this business. Now, if you don't get that from the circle that you're within, then you need to step outside of that circle and be like, right, I need to go and find new people to surround myself with. One of the quotes that I found that I think is so important is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I totally believe in this, and people like Einstein and people like I'm just trying to think, that was actually written by Michael Dell, and people like him. It's so true that, and I've found this, if I am surrounding myself with people that, yes, they may all be like-minded, but maybe you're the one that's the most intelligent around those people. Or say, for example, you're surrounding yourself with a group of people that actually your business is at the best point in that group of people. I'm not saying you can't socialise with those people, but if you really want to challenge yourself, at some point you need to be stepping out of that circle and challenging yourself and surrounding yourself with people that are more intelligent than you, that are running their business better than you, that are that have inspiring ideas. Now, for me, I find this on YouTube, and I'm not saying that all the people that are around us and all the different consultants that are around us, I'm continually trying to surround myself with new people all the time. But there is such a big wide world out there on the YouTube web, and for me, there are some amazing consultants that are doing amazing things that actually you can carbon copy what they're doing, but actually put your stamp on it. And for me, being that sponge, exactly that, Laura, being that sponge is so important to your mindset within this business and improving your knowledge all the time. You want to be, continually finding things to watch, finding things to read, and Laura's going to touch on that a bit more tomorrow, I believe. But ideally, you should be the smartest person in the room. So that's something, making sure that you're continually letting in knowledge, continually soaking up knowledge, bringing that into your circle. I'm going to talk about personal things now, so a little bit more. I'm going off on a tangent, but something that I've got knowledge on. So in terms of how you treat your body is going to affect your mindset massively. I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about water. So those two things are massive factors towards your mental health. I can guarantee you that when you're feeling crappy, when you're feeling like you don't want to get out of bed, when you're feeling lethargic, when you're feeling rubbish in yourself and your business isn't really going to how you want it to do, I bet if you look at what you've eaten in the last 3 days, you have probably stocked up on too many carbs, not enough vegetables, not enough fruit, not enough water, not enough of the healthy stuff that basically feeds your brain. Okay, now I know that you're all thinking, oh my god, here she goes telling me I've got to eat healthy. No, I'm not saying you've got to eat healthy all the time, but just trying to find a healthy, balanced diet is going to impact how your brain works and how you're thinking on every level. Getting out and exercising, getting access to green space, getting access, and I know that's something that's difficult at the moment, but getting out in your garden, walking to the local park on your own, walking around the block, it will improve your mental well-being. Laura and I, we strive on this, that actually we don't function properly, and this is probably how I'm feeling at the moment. I haven't functioned properly this week, and I was very much like, I need to get to the end of this week, and then on Monday I am going to be drinking my water, I'm going back to eating healthier breakfast, I'm going to eat a healthy lunch, I am going to make something healthier for dinner. Yes, I'm not going to cut out chocolate, I'm not going to cut out all the rubbish that I've bought that's stocked up in my cupboards, but I am going to make a concerted effort to feed my brain with healthier foods, because I can tell you, water, for example, I'm sitting here drinking tea at the minute, but water, when I drank drink 3 to 4 litres of water a day, my brain suddenly, all right, it took about 3 days to wean me off the Diet Coke, wean me off the tea, wean me off all the other stuff, all the juice and all the rubbish. But by day 3, by day 4, I rang Laura and I remember going, oh my God, my brain is literally on fire today. I feel like I've got clearer thought process. The brain fog has lifted, but it's because I was drinking 3 litres of water. That is now going round and it's feeding your brain health. So you need to be looking after your body as well as all the stuff that's to do with feeding your brain information within network marketing. If you're not feeding yourself with healthy, nutritious food, all the other stuff, it might as well go out the window. You physically cannot make your brain function if you do not drink enough water. And I'm telling you that from experience. Drink your water, test it and see what difference that you feel. It will lift the fog. Suddenly you will get new ideas that are coming to you that you were like, oh my God. Suddenly you can concentrate for more than 10 minutes because your concentration span's there. Getting out and having that access to green space, it means your access to fresh oxygen. The trees produce oxygen. That goes, you breathe it in and then you use it and it becomes so important. And yes, it's going to boost your immune system as well, which is really important right now at this point in life. Okay, so that's the science, 100% Laura, that's the science behind what we're trying to teach you at the minute in terms of mental well-being. For you to let the right things in, feed your body with all the right stuff because it will make such a difference to your business. And if you think I'm joking, please just test it for me because honestly, it just changes your brain. Okay, so we've talked about your brain, we've talked about feeding your body the right information, we've also talked about feeding you with the right foods, and we've talked about the circles that you're within. Okay, conversations. So this is quite a big one within our business, okay? You need to be making sure that what conversations you're hearing, you're surrounding yourself with, and what you're letting in, more importantly. We've all been there. We've all been sitting in that room when someone's probably talking negative about somebody or someone's talking negative about a situation. And then what happens is that then spirals and then all the people in the room are talking negative. They all jump on that bandwagon. Everybody starts talking negative. And what happens is we get this big negative explosion of negativity. And it could well be that you've had a bad day and you're just unwinding and you're letting it all out and you're having a vent. Where you vent to is probably really, really important. I talked about this on my World Tour talk. Trying to make sure that you vent upwards rather than downwards. You don't want your teammates to know about how you're feeling. So if you have got something that's negative going on within your life, make sure it's going upwards to your upline rather than downwards to your frontline. As for negative conversations, people are going to possibly talk about people around you. And it's up to you how you react to that. It's up to you what choices that you make to deal with that situation. Are you somebody that's going to jump straight in there and go, well, yeah, actually, I agree with you because you're enjoying the bitch, you're enjoying the moan, you're enjoying being part of that conversation? Or are you going to be somebody that actually makes it, sort of diffuses it slightly with, a certain word, or by changing the subject slightly, or by just changing that conversation round? When I was younger, I would say that I was probably involved in a lot of negative conversations at school. I had friends that enjoyed a good old bitch. We all do. We're women, and even men. If they say they don't, it's not true. Some people do enjoy a good bitch, but there's right formats for it. There's right places for that to happen, and it's about how you're dealing with that, how you're actioning those conversations, and it becomes really easy to. Rather than just vent, be like completely negative all the time and surround yourself with that negativity. And what will happen is that negativity not only will bring you down further, but it brings everybody else down around you. So it's really important that you try and avoid the negative threads. I've been in certain groups within, Sensi, and there are certain groups sometimes where you walk away and think, oh my God, that was really negative. Like, it made me feel, and I can honestly say, it made me then feel angry walking away from it because I've just read all of this. Part of me wants to go on there and say, why are you being so negative all the time? When actually, I count to 10, and I think, is me going in there and putting my 2 bit into that conversation going to actually gain anything? No, it's probably not. I might feel a little bit better for all of 5 minutes. What's then going to happen is it's then going to create another lot of negativity, when actually, you know, it's not even worth going in there to try and sprinkle some positivity. We've all tried it, and actually, unless you think the same as those people, you're only going to get a negative backlash. So sometimes it is passion, not necessarily bitching. It's just passion that's being directed in a way that people don't know how to direct it. But you as a consultant need to know how to channel those negative energies. When you see something negative, you need to know when's the right time to actually step in and have a conversation, or actually when's the time to just say nothing, or when's the time to just walk away. And this works in different ways within your business. This can work within your team environment, but also this can work within with your customers. We've all got those customers that have maybe vented in our inbox, or rang us up, or we've stood on their doorstep and they've gone, and straight away your back's up, because you're thinking, I want to defend Scentsy. I love Scentsy. I love what we do. I want to defend it, and I want to defend the product. And you're standing here absolutely backlashing the product. So we've all got, you know, or say for example shipping's longer than it normally would take, and you know, it's really easy for you to say to your customers, well actually, yeah, shipping's taking too long, so you know, Scentsy need to get their act together. Ideally, you don't want to be having those conversations with your customers. Your customers, you should be keeping it really, really positive. It's a bit like if somebody says that the big god-awful no to you, no, I don't want to join your business. How you deal with that conversation, how you deal with their negativity, their rudeness, comes down to you as a person. And it's a little bit like where Laura was saying yesterday, you've got your 2 types of mindset. You've got that fixed, or you've got that, oh God, what were they called? Fixed, my brain's gone. See, literally, brain fog, where I'm not drinking enough water. You've got those 2 types of mindset. And some people, growth mindset. Some people would, you know, take that no and be like, you know, or take that rude message and automatically go back with something rude because they've been spoken to in that manner, rather than actually diffusing it or thinking, actually, how can I turn this around into a positive that's going to actually bode well for me as a consultant, and bode well for the customer. So the conversations you're having, that negative thought process, it is really easy at this moment in time, you know, especially when you go into the all consultant group. You know, people are asking for free shipping constantly. People are begging Heidi and Orville for non-cancels and all these different things. And I think it becomes really easy to try and to jump on that bandwagon and be like, do you know what? Yes, if the more of us say it, then we might get there. We might, you know, let's jump on these threads and let's join in the negativity. Try not to. Try and avoid it. Try not to let it in. It's just the minute that negativity comes within your brain and you join in that, all that's going to do is it's going to manifest within your own brain. You need to be surrounding yourself with positive thoughts. Take over your thought process. You know, make good choices, not bad choices. Negativity breeds negativity. So really think about that. So how do you react to certain situations? I have just covered that really, really a little bit there. So in these negative situations that are coming into your brain, as I say, a really good tip for me is count to 10. Now, another tip that I've picked up on over time is listening. Sometimes when you're excited, it's really difficult to listen, and you find yourself constantly interrupting. Me and Laura are terrible like that. When we're on the phone to each other, we constantly interrupt each other, but it's where our brains are literally whizzing. But in terms of these negative situations, you need to be able to listen. Now, so for example, I had a customer this week that hadn't received an order that she had ordered off of a consultant within the team. And she was so negative, and she was in my inbox and she was like, rah, 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 rah. I let her literally tell me everything she needed to tell me. And then I said to her, look, I'm going to call you. So I rang her and I basically let her, it's a bit like a therapy session. I let her tell me all of her problems all at once. And I said nothing. I said absolutely nothing. I let her know I was still there by making a little bit of noise in the background. I didn't want to think the whole phone had gone quiet. But I literally let her unload. And as soon as she stopped and she took that minute, I digested all of her information, and then I went and I gave her, you know, the positive spin as much as I can, the apology. First of all, there's always an apology. If somebody's saying that the shipping's taken so long, there's always an apology. If you're going to go back and you're going to say, you know, no, our shipping does take 10 working days, I did tell you. No, that's not what they want to hear. They don't want to hear I told you so. They want to hear an apology, first of all. I always say this, right? I've had many rows with the school office. There's me and an office lady in the school, in my kids' school, that I just really don't get on well with. But that aside. And how I think that she has dealt with me wrong is that she never wants to apologise for any of the things that I'm ringing to tell her. If I ring and complain about something, so once it was about that my son's football kit didn't quite meet his classroom and he had to wear his PE kit to football. Now, I took that kit in there at 10 o'clock in the morning. So when I rang up, when he come home from school in his PE kit, I was fuming and I was really, really angry. And when I rang up, I didn't ring up all angry, but I said, look, I just don't think it's on that. I brought that in at 10 o'clock and he still didn't get it. So he had no shin pads and no football boots. And she refused to say, oh, I am really sorry that it didn't get down there. She gave me a bombard of loads of excuses as to why that football kit might not have got there, because they were so busy and they had these parents and she had a meeting and then this. And rather than just saying, oh, Mrs. Allwood, I am really sorry. If she'd have said that straight away, I probably would have gone, look, it's okay, I get it, you're really busy. So how you deal with a certain situation is massive, and that comes down to your customers and your team. Is sometimes you've got to literally let them unload, and then you've got to apologise. Whether you like it or not, some people don't like to say sorry, but that is something that you've got control of. You've got control of how that person feels. By making an apology, it can make somebody feel so much better, because you've literally just said, I'm sorry for that situation. Let's see what we can do about it. How can I make this work? So definitely how you deal with a situation, how you react to a situation is massive. And, you know, it's same as we're saying, what you're letting in. If you're letting in their negativity and you're sort of getting angry, you know, because they've got their back up, and then you go back at them and you're like, meh. It literally, as Laura said there, it's going to add fuel to the fire, and it's not going to be healthy. It's going to go somewhere quite negative. So really try and think about, you know, in terms of how you're dealing with certain situations. It's so important for getting you in that right mindset and keeping a positive mindset. So I said there was a little picture that I showed you, and I'm just going to bring it up so that we can see it. Bear with me 2 seconds. So I posted a picture that was about, really weird when you go on here and then you see, here we go. So this is the picture I posted. So circle of concern versus your circle of control. So how this works is, and this is like what you're letting into your brain, if you like. So this is what you've got to think of. All of these things might give you concern. Okay, they're all things that if you let them into your brain, they're going to give you thoughts that are going to stress you out. So within Scentsy, this could be things like long shipping times, out of stock items. It could be the fact that, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of other things. A customer not happy with their order, a warmer breaks. They're all things that are like concerns. Obviously, these are everyday concerns, and I could write this for Scentsy. You literally could write all the things that concern you. But in the centre is all the things actually that you've got control over, and how they all sort of link. So, for example, in here, your weight might be one. I don't think it's in here. But what you eat is something that you can control to stop you being concerned about your weight, for example. So it's the same here. If shipping was in here, but making your customers aware of the 10 working day shipping would be how you control that. So what I'm trying to say is, there are lots of things that can concern us. There are lots of things that we can manifest, but everything that concerns us, we have control over, okay? If we deal with them in the right way. If we don't let the concern come into our brain and become like a manifestation, and suddenly it's a big issue that, oh my God, shipping's going to take all these days and it's going to take forever and blah, 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 blah. As long as you've managed your customers' expectations, it's in your control. So what I'm trying to say is, everything that worries you, if you write it down, you then need to write down how you can control that situation, because every situation can be controlled. Out of stock items can be controlled purely by, you know, letting your customers know before they order, these items are actually on the back order at the moment. You know, it's okay to communicate that with your customers. For example, if Jammy Time goes on back order, you put that on your customer group and you say, look, at the moment, Jammy Time's on back order. You know, you can order it, but it's just going to take a little bit longer to come in. People need to know what's on back order. I think too many people are quite happy to be like, oh, I can't tell them it's on back order. It's that open communication that you've got with your customers, that open communication that you've got with your team. So all of these situations and this whole circle of, you know, control versus concern, you have control of a lot of things. It's just about resetting your mindset to be like, right, okay, how do I control these situations? And I would say that when I see this, I was like, do you know what? This is a little bit how my brain works, and this is probably how I remain quite calm in quite stressful situations. It's how I probably put myself under a lot of pressure, lastminute.com, to do things, because I don't let the concerns come into my brain and then manifest and me go, oh my God, I can't cope. Probably my biggest concern in my life at the minute, and this is really, really sad, but it's probably that my house never stays tidy. But my control is that of a night time when my kids go to bed, I'm now trying to make it a habit that I tidy up before they go to bed. Because if I do that, that's me having control over something that prevents me from working, because I don't like to sit down at my desk until the room around me is relatively tidy, and I can't go out into my house and deal with mess. So I'm trying to control that at the moment by actually, you know, putting a habit in place and creating a habit that is gonna, you know, improve that situation, that is going to improve that concern. So it's exactly the same with anything in your sensey business. If you let it into your brain and you let it concern you and you let it spiral out of control, then you're creating that problem for yourself. And I know I'm saying this, and I know that mindset and the mind is a really strange thing, but believe it or not, if you work on just 3 things a day that are in your concern pile, that you then gain control over, and you deal with that over a period of time, it becomes a habit. I used this example when I did a live in the Dream Team Academy. So these, I'm just going to show you this drawer, okay? So this is my hair, makeup, all that. It's not particularly tidy, but you can see this. And I've used this as an example before, right? This was a major concern for me, because for a while I hair straightened my hair and I would leave it on the carpet. Let me show you what happened. We had lived here 2 months, brand new carpet. You can probably see it down there. There's a line. That's from my hair straighteners, and I burnt my carpet. Mike and I had a massive row about it, and he was like, we can't have anything nice. We've just spent, you know, 800 quid getting this lovely carpet down, which probably now needs recarpeting. But and you've ruined it by your hair straighteners. I felt terrible. And then my mum was like, God, you need to get that under control, because if you left that and you went out, it might have caused a fire. So I was like, right. So she went to me, 21 days creates a habit. That concern that you've got control over. You need to create a habit of putting your hair straighteners away. So now every day when I finish my hair straighteners, I have created a habit, because I set myself an alarm on my phone for 21 days. 21 days it takes to create a new habit. So for 21 days, I unplugged my straighteners, I folded them up, and I put the wire around them. I put them away in that drawer with my makeup and all my other rubbish that's in there. And I closed the drawer, and I now know that that is a habit. I have created that habit. It was a concern. I then put that into my circle of control. I created an answer to be able to control that situation. And now, boom, it's now not something that's a concern anymore. I don't ever drive off my driveway thinking, have I put my hair straighteners away? Yes, I have, because it's now a habit. So this is the same with your business. Say, for example, you're not very good at getting your samples made up, or say, for example, your orders come in and you don't like, you know, they sit there for a couple of days. If you make it a habit to get your order in, get it straight into bags, get it straight delivered within those 24, 48 hours, 1, it's going to improve your business. 2, people are going to reorder quicker because they're getting their orders quicker. 3, your customers are going to think you're magic because you get your orders to them so quickly. 4, it's really good customer service. 5, it's not sitting in your house anymore looking messy. So it's literally about training your mind, okay? Training your mind to go from concern to control. Giving yourself control over all of these situations. You've got control over what you eat. You've got control over what you drink. You've got control over what conversations you have with people, and whether they're positive conversations or negative, or whether, you know, you're letting the whole world get on top of you. And believe it or not, you have got control of your mind. Your mind can be trained, but you have got to literally focus on, and especially if you struggle with positive mindset, I would say pick 2 or 3 things that you struggle with daily and you start working on those. And once they become a habit, you can put them aside and then start working on 2 new things. Yes, it's going to take time to improve all the things, but I promise you, start working on 1 or 2 things and the weight will gradually lift off your shoulders and it will gradually make you feel better. So whether it's drinking water, getting out and having exercise, having access to green space, whether it's, you know, not always jumping down your customer's throat because they've just given you a negative about Scentsy, whether it's the fact that you need more personal development to give you new inspiration and you need to get on YouTube to feed your brain. There are so many situations that I could say, but you have control of those situations. You have control of your business. You have control of your mind. You have control of you, whether you believe it or not. Okay, and that's what it boils down to. A positive mindset is about belief. And you start believing that you can do it. You start believing that your brain will work that way. I promise you, it will start happening. But clear the fog, drink your water, eat your greens. Sound like everybody's mums now. Get more fruit into your diet. Get out and get access to green space. Even if it is just walking for 10 minutes a day. And I promise you, all of these other things, like not entering into negative conversations, not, you know, surrounding yourself with negative people, it will change your life. And I mean that. It will change your life. So, that's me done today. If anyone's got any questions, abs, we choose how to react in a situation. Definitely, you can always find a positive way. It's all choices. Don't become a target. If you try and... Yeah, sometimes it's better rather than to try and diffuse the situation, is just not be in the situation at all. No moody Margaret's allowed, Kel. Love that. Moody Margarets, I love that. Negative Nancy's, I call them. Kida, yeah, reality TV is, you know, I love it. I binge on it, but it's very negative. Any questions? Thanks, lovelies. Right, hopefully this has sort of give you food for thought today. Literally, food for thought. Got what I got done there. Hopefully it's give you food for thought, as in like it's starting to make you think about actually you've got some control. You've just got to just look at how you're dealing with things and just think about it. And I hope that this has helped a little bit. Laura will be back live tomorrow morning. If you're mummy to fur babies or children, have an amazing Mother's Day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye guys.